a renowned man who has had a very successful career because he is the former Deputy Minister of Health, a former Minister of the Western North Region, and the CEO of Valco. Again, we are proud to know that he's an alumnus of University of Ghana. Please, let's give it up for him. And he's here to speak to us about keeping destiny principles alive. With a resounding round of applause, let's invite on the stage Honorable Kingsley Aboagye Gyedu. Please, let's do it till he gets here.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. I think we are in the afternoon, yeah? So a very good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have this meeting with you. At the same time, I feel that it is very challenging when you have to speak after a renowned professor has spoken. I am neither an academic nor a pastor. I am only here to share some experiences I have had, either through my life or that of people close to me. One of my hobbies is to admonish young people. And the topic I'm supposed to talk on is how to keep destiny principles alive. If the renowned professor has identified the destiny killers and has taught us how to avoid it, then my job is simple, isn't it? I'll just tell you, let's keep to what the professor has told us. If we're able to avoid the destiny killers, then it means we are on our way to achieving our destiny. Is that not logical? Thank you very much. So my job is done. The MC should come for the mic. Anyway, I was described as an alumni of this great institution, not the School of Admin anyway. I didn't succeed in coming to the School of Admin, even though that is how we called it then, in the 90s. Now they say you call it what? Business school. Anyway, we left before the name business school was born. The prof has said a lot. He's defined what destiny is. I want to come up with what I call workable definition of destiny. And that is simply that hidden power believed to control future events. Destiny can be defined as that hidden power believed to control future events. In everyday language, people call it fate. Some of the lessons I learned from the professor's speech is that destiny is not sacrosanct. The fact that you were born and a pastor or a man of God came to visit you and prophesied in your life that, oh, you become a president one day, doesn't mean that you can sleep, fold your arms, lo and behold, you become president one day. With due respect, in the 1990s, when I was a young first-year student of this great institution, I got into politics quite early. I was a staunch member of the MPP on campus. We happened to meet the then leadership of the party at E9 on top of the bookshop. And amongst them was this slim, extremely tall man called J.A. Kufuor. And that time, if you were going to meet people like Peter Lajete, J.A. Kufuor, Safu Adu, and those people, then you know that indeed you are meeting big people. J.A. Kufuor was relatively young then. And in his speech, he said that when he was young, a man of God prophesied that he would become president one day. All of us didn't believe it, because the stature of people amidst which he was, we couldn't see him becoming a president. That was 93 thereabout. Lo and behold, in less than 10 years, this man became president. And arguably, he is one of the best performing presidents Ghana has ever had. I didn't say he's the best. I say he's one of the best. So yeah, now me try say kakra meeting na makani so that I'm not misconstrued. I believe all of you can speak and understand P. So you can be born with, or you can have a belief that this is what I want to achieve. The definition I have given to destiny means that is coming from a source of power within you. That is your destiny. But you have to work hard towards achieving it. Otherwise, it will remain a dream with which you go to the 6-yard box. 6-foot box. I mean the coffin. So it means that you have to work hard. And working hard is not about carrying blocks. With all due respect, and I'm not saying carrying blocks is not hard working. But that is not the only way you can achieve your destiny. You need to have a vision to start with. I always say that if I move my car and I don't know where I'm going, how do I get there? If you don't even know where you are going, how do you get there? And if you get there, how do you know that I've gotten to your destination? So you have to have a vision. Some of us were not fortunate enough to be born into the city. I was born in a village in the western north called Sehi Amiaso. I remember some 10 years ago, I took a friend of mine there. And when we decided in the evening to tour the town, we got back home and he asked me, "So Kingsley, you are telling me this is where you were born?" I said, "Yes." "And this is where you lived till you went to the university?" I said, "Yes." In my community, in the 70s and the 80s, by the time I was coming to the university, if I'm not exaggerating, I must be about the 5th or the 6th person to have come to the university from that community. And almost the 4 or 5 people ahead of me were all teachers. I'm not saying teaching is bad, but they didn't even go through those days. You know, we used to go to Form 5. After Form 4 middle school, you go to secondary school for 5 years, go to 6th form for 2 years before you, if you are lucky, you go to the university. But many people, for varied reasons, could not even go to the secondary school, so they'll go to training college. And that is why I love this idea of restoration of teacher trainee and the nursing trainees allowance. That is what helped a lot of people in my community. But that time, not that because we're too poor, but our fathers and grandfathers didn't see the need, the importance of education. There's a land there for you to do cocoa farming, and you say you want to be Krachi or Rabba. What do you think? Simon's son went into cocoa farming. Now he has a lot of acres of cocoa farming. So what business do you have wasting your time going to school? So for some of us, your teacher had to hold your hand to your mother or your father to plead with him or her that this your son is too good to be left to do cocoa farming. Let him also go to school. And if you are lucky, the doctor in Bibiani, he went to school. That is why he's a doctor. So not all of us can be cocoa farmers. So after several pleadings with them, then they will agree that, okay, I will let him go, but I don't have the money. Okay, you let him go to teacher training college because that is free. So then you go to teacher training college for 4 years, you get your alawa. So those who were visionary, those who were good, by the time he comes out of the teacher training college, he has planned to sit at home and write the O level and the A level. So some of them will teach for a few years and then they'll go to the university. So you need to have a vision. And indeed, some of them, one of them just came from the US, retiring as a professor emeritus. He was teaching at the Connecticut State University in the US. He taught there for more than 25 years. He was, he came out of the Sehuyosu Training College. So you need to have a vision. And vision is not enough. You need to have determination. I want to be an accountant in future. At the time of you having that vision, you probably haven't been seen as a successful accountant. You only want to be an accountant. That's it. And for somebody like me, I was torn between being a lawyer and an accountant. So when I thought of being an accountant, I was so determined that, look, I will be an accountant or a lawyer. So when I started writing the then common entrance examination. I wrote it when I was in Form 2. I passed. They say, oh, you know what, you have passed, but your sister has completed Form 4. So he is going to secondary school or commercial school. So we can't take the two of you. You wait. After all, you haven't completed Form 4. So I had to wait. Form 3, I wrote, I passed. The same story. Until Form 4. Now you have passed. You have come out of secondary school. But knowing that as I'm going to write the third one, I might be faced with the same excuse, I decided to take my destiny into my own hands. This is my small hands. I could do small farming. So I cultivated cassava farm. And at the time I had to go to secondary school, my cassava had not gotten to the level of harvesting. So I sold the whole farm with the cassava and everything, so I could get my school fees. And poor man who has levels, I say, oh, BBN secondary school is a day school. I don't like it. So secondary school is the only boarding school, and almost everybody around my community is going to Sehuyo. So I want to be different. So I will not go to Sehuyo. So I chose Efijasi Secondary Commercial School. And I went to Efijasi Secondary Commercial School. Incidentally, one of the first commercial schools in Ghana. And then when I got there, the infrastructure was worse than the beginning secondary school that I had rejected. But I took solace in the fact that at least that is closer to Kumasi. So that one will give me some comfort. And the determination and commitment to my education was so high. And I tell you, in fact, for those, I don't know any of my mates who is on campus now. But the head of economics department, Professor Aboagye, was my mate at the university here. In fact, I was so committed to my vision and my determination was so high that from Form 1 to Form 5, everything I was taught, in all humility, I chewed it. It was in my head. So for me, when examination was coming, I didn't bother. Because when we closed, I was there with a friend of mine, very good, very a relative. When we closed from classes and we go to the dormitory, you were forced to have 1 hour siesta. After the siesta, in fact, we didn't even have pipe in our school. So we take our bucket and go to the riverside. I will take my notes, he will take his notes. Then after about 1 hour reading, we were both chewing. So I'll give him the notes and I'll be reading from my head. Then he also give me the notes and he'll be reading from his head. So it was like, you don't even have to understand, you chew it. When the examination comes, pour it, pass, and you can forget. So I remember a teacher was transferred from Aboagye Gyedu Secondary School, Kumawu, when we were in Form 3 and we were writing geography exams. And the man saw me seated. I wasn't thinking. Once I got the paper, I just take 1, 2, 3. These are the questions I'm going to answer. And I started writing. And he didn't see me pausing to think through the question. He only saw me writing the paper. I'll finish. I'll turn the back. I will write. Call for another paper. So he went to call the geography master. This boy, what is he pouring something from? Is he copying from somewhere? He said, oh, don't mind him. Everything is in his head. So when I came out of the secondary school, and as fate will have it, from Form 3, when you went to Form 4, that is when you chose the courses that you wanted to do, either business, arts, or science. If you just see secondary school was a secondary commercial, so we didn't do science. It was either business or arts. And we're doing very well in business. But at a point I was advised that, why don't you think of going to one of the big schools so you could do science and become a doctor? So my sister, who had just retired from KNUSC, tried her best to get me admission to Kumasi High School. I was going to repeat Form 3 so I could do science. The long back before the school reopened for me to go there and repeat Form 3, they had a demonstration and the school was closed down. So I couldn't move. I was stuck in a fiscal. And I decided that, look, don't worry, I will do my accounting. Lo and behold, I stayed over, did my business, and when we finished the O level and the results came, in all humility, I came out as the best student ever in the school. In fact, the school celebrated the, I think, 82nd birthday last year. So that time the school was in the late 40s. I had aggregate 10. And I was the best ever. When people were getting aggregate 6. So you see the level, the school I went to. So from there, I moved. And incidentally, whilst I was there, I contested. In fact, I wanted to contest for library prefect. And then when I attended vetting, in the wisdom of the panel, they say, no, you are too good to be a library prefect. You go and contest for school prefect, SP. So I went to contest for SP and I lost miserably. So the politics started quite early. So because of that, I said no. People were moving from a fiscal to Opokuware to Prempe. I said no, I'm moving out of Ashanti region. I'm going to Central region. So I moved from a fiscal to Ogasco, St. Augustine's College, Cape Coast. And those days, once you land there for the big schools, the presumption was that you were a science student. So the moment you get there, they ask you whether you are coming to do biology or mathematics. Because if you were a science student at sixth form, you either do physics, chemistry, biology, or physics, chemistry, mathematics. If you go there and they ask you math or bio, and you say, oh, accounting, oh, come on. You are not part of the school. So I went to Ogasco to do my business. We finished, and for the first time, Ogasco results were withheld. 45 of us who did accounting, we had our results withheld. It delayed for a few months. The results came, and I was the only one who had an E. Believe you me, something that I knew I was going to get A, I got E, and I was the only one to get E. The 44 of them all had to go and rewrite. And when I applied for admission, I was given economics. I wanted to come to this school, the University of Ghana Business School, but because of the E, I had to go and do economics. And for the first year, I wasn't happy at all, because for me, accounting is my course. If I sleep and you wake me up, I can work any accounting question. Here am I being given economics, sociology, and political science. So when my mates at the secondary school who knew me, they met me and they asked me, you there, you are doing admin? I said, no, I'm not doing admin, I'm doing economics. Hey, why? What happened? And I got so demoralized that at a point, I even wanted to stop the cons, go back and rewrite the A level so I could come and do accounting. And I do consultations a lot. So I went to one professor, Dr. Aboagye Gyedu. He was a cons lecturer. And then one Dr. Henry Jackson. There was another lecturer at the School of Admin here I consulted. And all of them were unanimous that if it is accounting you want to do, or if you want to be an accountant, you don't need to do admin to become an accountant. So you pursue the economics, and when you finish, you can do the ACCA or CA Ghana to become accountant. So reluctantly, I took that advice. And that time, we believed, whether wrongly or otherwise, that CA Ghana will sit down and determine that this year we are passing 10 people. No matter your marks, if you don't fall within the first 10, you cannot qualify. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. But that was the belief of students. So those of us who were determined to become accountants, we said, no, we have to go to ACCA. And even today, getting money to register for ACCA, the pound sterling, it wasn't easy. And on campus, I used to do extra curriculum activities to earn a living. Because as I was entering the university, my younger brother was entering the sixth form. And our father had passed long time. So my mom, a single mother, with all due respect, villager, who never stepped in class 1, subsistence farmer, a petty trader, couldn't take care of the two of us. So you have got into the university, so be on your own. Let's take care of your younger brother. So the moment I stepped on this campus, I identified an opportunity photography. So all those who graduated or who were in this university in the early 90s, they know me. Because every event, you will find me there. I'm doing my photography. From first year to final year. I tell you. I needed to do that to survive. Then came when we were about to complete. I believe that all of you might have heard of it as a history that in the mid-90s, the then 3 universities in Ghana, University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, and University of Science and Technology, that time Kwame Nkrumah had not been added to it. The University Teachers Association went on strike, and the universities had to be closed down for a full year. And so those who were supposed to graduate in 1995 couldn't graduate. So if you meet anybody who says he graduated from any of the universities in Ghana in 1995, that person must be a big liar. There was nobody graduating in any of the universities in 1995. So we had to be on campus for 4 years to do 3-year course. And during that time, I decided that, then why don't I take advantage of and I didn't know how long the strike was going to last. I had gathered small money, bought some ACCA books. I could only afford 2 because the idea was that as I was not pursuing a BSc accounting course, if I graduated, I would be exempted from paper 2 and paper 4. So I only needed to prepare for paper 1 and paper 3. So I bought the books for paper 1 and paper 3. So I started, and I couldn't afford to go to lectures at IPS. That time it wasn't UPSC. So I sat here. That was about after 4 years after I have completed the A level. That was the last time I did accounting. But I sat down. That is where determination and commitment comes in. I sat down and I studied these 2 courses. And I realized that, I'm proficient enough to write. But when we were about to write the exams, then it dawned on me that there are module A, module B. Module A has paper 1 and paper 2. You can't register paper 1 and leave paper 2. So you have to write all the 4 papers. And now that I haven't graduated, how will I get the exemption? So as time was approaching, then let me write the 4. I didn't have money to buy the extra 2 books. So I liaised with a friend who was pitching on campus and was doing ACCA at IPS. So when he was not studying his paper 2, I'll go for that book and then sit down to do something small. If he wants it the following morning, I have to make sure that I stay up in the night to read, and then the following morning I go and give it to him. Otherwise, I can't get it the next day. So lo and behold, the 2 examinations almost crashed. But I managed to write the 2. First semester exams, final year first semester, and then ACCA. I wrote the 2, and by the grace of God, I passed. And once you register for ACCA, they will start sending you the newsletters. So I decided, when I saw that, there were a lot of adverts in it, looking for part qualified accountants in London. I said, once, now that I've gotten level 1, then I will use it to apply for jobs, to apply for a school in London. That time, the most popular school was ATMA Wolf College, London. So I applied for it. By the grace, I got admission. I don't want to bore you with how I even managed to get bank statement to support my application. After a lot of frustrations, 3 months later, I got a visa to go to the UK to study accounting. So after graduation, because of the delay, we were made to do national service for only 3 months. So after 3 months, by September, I was in London doing the ACCA. And it was when I got there that I realized that those adverts were not open to everybody, especially those of us who are non-whites. So I had to engage in my cleaning, security, and what have you. Lo and behold, in 2.5 years, I qualified. I came back to Ghana to start my career because I realized that even though I got a job there, for me, that was not going to help me to get to my destiny. So I came back to Ghana. I joined PricewaterhouseCoopers. But I did MBA in the UK before coming. I have worked with PwC. I moved from PwC to USAID. Then moved from USAID to British American Tobacco. And recently, when I was the Deputy Minister for Health, I attended a conference in South Africa that had this as their topic: tobacco or health. And I felt bad. I had to confess that I've sold tobacco before. And here am I now having to denigrate tobacco as a bad product. I am conflicted. But of course, there was nothing I could do. And it is from British American Tobacco that I decided that I wanted to set up on my own as an accountant. A small practice I started in 2007, and where I worked until it dawned on me that I had to be in politics. For me, it was purely to help my people. Yes, that's next level. So I went into politics with all the challenges. By God's grace, I won to go to Parliament in 2012. And I know that Dr. Emmanuel Kubi will not know me. But when I returned from my sojourn, I attended his church. That time you were at Sakumono. And I know he will not remember me, but I remember him very well. So I won to go to Parliament. Unfortunately, my party didn't win. So I was in opposition. I did what I could. I was a very outstanding member of the Public Accounts Committee because of my background as an accountant and an auditor. Lo and behold, the next election, 2016, I won again. And this time round, my party came to power. And I was made a Deputy Minister for Health for 2 years. And when the new regions were created, I was tasked to be the first regional minister for the newly created Western North region. Yes. Destiny alive. And I remember, with all due respect, when we were praying at the 2016 campaign, I don't know if Reverend SK also remembers. He said something to the effect that it was a few months to election that he seen me in the spirit being crowned as a minister. So when I was even made a deputy minister, he still said, no, I didn't see you as a deputy minister, I saw you as a minister. And lo and behold, in 2 years, it came to pass. So I was there. Unfortunately, where our politics is going is something else. If you cannot steal and share the largesse, you are not seen as a good politician. Otherwise, in all humility, those of you who know or might have access to information about what I did for my people in Bibiani Area Bekwai constituency, where I was an MP for 2 terms, one of which I was in opposition. And even when I became a regional minister, because by then, before I even got to win the second time, I like prayers. I deal with a lot of pastors, and a lot of people prophesied that if I won the second time and I became MP, I will be a minister and I will do very well for my people. I believe strongly that it came to pass. A lot of young people found jobs through me. Infrastructural development happened in an unprecedented pace in my constituency and in my region. Unfortunately, because of my background and my training, I am not the type who would take something that does not belong to me. So when it came to sharing largesse, I wasn't there. I couldn't do it. And I got punished for that. So at the primaries in 2020, I lost miserably. And that reminded me of back in 1988-89 when I vied for the position of school prefect in the Fijasi Secondary School. One teacher, I've been looking for this man. I hope he's still alive. I just want to go and say thank you to him if I could find him. One Mr. Tenge, he was teaching at the Fijasi Secondary School. In our school, a free school, we used to have an open day for students, for aspirants to actually come out and share their vision. We sell it, coming to deliver your manifesto. And when we did that, the following day he came to call me and said, oh, yesterday you spoke very well. You did so well. Unfortunately, the people didn't share, the students didn't share in my vision. So I lost that election. And I went to lose again at the primaries. And today, if you go on social media, if you go to Bibiani and Bekwai now, via the last primaries, people, delegations upon delegations, came to me to go back. And I told them the same issue on which I lost is probably worse now. Because I've been at home for more than 2 years, not working. So even that time when I was a minister, I couldn't share money. Where am I going to get money to share today for me to be elected? I will continue to support whoever gets elected. But I'm sorry, I don't have the wherewithal to come back. Thank God, through hard work, sacrifice, and what have you, last year, the President of the Republic remembered a good servant and called me to come and help him at VACO, first as a Deputy Chief Executive. And early this year, my substantive Chief Executive had been made or appointed the Greater Accra Regional Minister, and I have been asked to step in his shoes. So since the beginning of April, I have assumed the position of Chief Executive of Water Aluminium Company. So I have shared all this with you to let you know. I think one of the musicians said it in his music that the charcoal seller's son can also wear white shirt one day. So those of us from the hinterland, those of us who were born into the bush, we can also go up and rub shoulders with those who were born with silver spoon. Never feel that you are discouraged or you are disadvantaged. Of course, when we were on campus, even at St. Augustine's, look at me moving from Afijasi to St. Augustine's Cape Coast. Those days, the children of Kwasibuchis, the ministers and secretaries then were mates. And when vacation was coming, you could hear people discussing, oh, this vacation day I will spend it in Yankee. So we had the Yankee group and then the Babylonians. And then those of us who would go and spend it in the Kukwasi too were there. I happened to meet one of these Babylonians when I was in London doing my studies. I was a security man, my nice security dress. And I saw this guy who used to have, when we were on campus here, he came to Lagos. He used to drive BMW. And those days, if a student was driving, it was something exceptional. And I remember one of them would tell you, if you are coming to look for me and you see that my car is parked, it means that I'm in the room. So that was his door indicator. But me, until you come to my door and see that I've turned it to whether there or not, you can see whether I'm in or not. And I saw this man packing back, wares into a shop. And when he saw me, he came to, hey, Charlie, but how did you get security? Because security was seen to be a big job. I said, oh, I'm a student. Oh, that is why. Because if you go there illegally, you can't do a security job. So please, I think that my objective would have been achieved by telling you the story that some of us have gone through. I am now struggling for my children to know how far I have come. Because they were born, we live just at the back of Legon here, in the village called Agogba. Now they say they are of age, so they call themselves North Legon. So they were born in the University of Ghana hospital. So when you tell them some of this story, and I believe that some of them, I have a son in this school now. He's in second year. When you talk to them about some of these things, they don't believe it. That even at the final year university, apart from being a photographer, there was a time I was so hard up that I had to go to the village to buy cassava and brought it to Kumasi to sell. Just to earn something small for the pocket. So I call that those who belong to that group as first generation graduates. It might happen that in your whole family, you are the first person to come to the university. That was the situation some of us found ourselves. Your father is a PhD holder, your mother is a doctor, so you don't have a problem. When you are going to school now, it's not that people are trying to be health conscious. They want to limit the fats that you eat and all that. To remember that I met this young man, he was so good, let me bring him to come and do this for me. Humility is a virtue. No matter how rich your parents might be, no matter how brilliant you might be, humble yourself. Because the doormat on which we step to go to our bedroom, they also have a role to play. And I believe strongly that the people you meet when you are going up, they are the same people you will meet when you are coming down. Respect anybody and everybody you meet. He might not be as fortunate as you. He might not be as rich as you. He might not be as intelligent as you. But he might have something that you don't have. And one day, one time, you might need him or her to do something for you. And when you make mistakes, be humble enough to accept and learn from it. That is what will help all of you. And I'm coming to an end, or to the end of my presentation or experience sharing, so I call it. But as much as possible, let's learn to avoid mistakes that people who are ahead of us made. You might be so sure of something, only to find out that it's not workable. But if you have read, or if you have today's world, you don't even read too much, so I hear. You might have watched it on social media or elsewhere. So please, when you have such experiences shared, or you have come across such information, accept them, and please be sure that you want to avoid some of the mistakes that those people. No person becomes success, or no successful person can tell you that he has never made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but the humility to learn from the mistakes makes you a great leader. I understand some of you might want to ask questions. I'm ever ready to ask those questions. So I don't want to bore you with too much talks. Yes, I'm a politician. Politicians, pastors, teachers, if you give us time, we can talk the whole day, because we talk for a living. So I want to end here, and thank you for this great opportunity. And give a few minutes for those who want to ask questions for clarification. I will do that for you. Thank you very much.
I feel so saturated with the wealth of knowledge that has been imparted to us today. Thank you so much, Honorable, for such an amazing speech. I've learned that for us to be the great people God has destined for us to be, we have to have a vision, commitment, and determination about where we want to end up, irrespective of our current life situations. Okay, at this juncture, if anybody has any questions for the Honorable, the house is open. So a microphone will come around, and if you have a question, it's open to answering them. You have a question, okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for the insightful message that you shared. Please, sometimes defining your destiny, it's quite complicated. And I want to ask if there's no clarity to the destiny that God has given to you or has been assigned to you. How do you navigate your life through life, or explore to really achieve that and make that destiny come to light? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My first question goes to the other professor who did the first presentation. There is a saying that through his presentation, he made a statement that being antisociable is destroys your destiny
I want to know, because there's a saying that the more you familiarize yourself with people, the more they start disrespecting you. And the more you stay away from people, you get a lot of peace of mind. So in this situation, what do you do about it?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable. And okay, please, I also want to ask a question about you talked as a politician, so I also want to ask a question about politics, student politics to be precise. So on campus, if you are part of the Babylonians and you want to enter into student politics, of course, you have to get boys and you have to get people to rally behind you. And in getting that, our country is very difficult. And even those willing to rally behind you will need a source of motivation. So yes, so as a Babylonian who wants to change the change some policies in the school and you want to impact the leadership in school, how do you make it? And I also want to ask another question too, a follow-up question. We most politicians go into leadership positions with so many ideas, but of course, I don't know, it gets to a point in time they are not able to make these ideas they had before they assumed office known. So how do a Babylonian who will obviously be willing to venture into such positions do?
Is that all?
My question goes to the first speaker. I want to know, what does the idea of free will intersect with destiny? I said I want to know. My question goes this way. How does the idea of free will intersect with destiny? And how do you recognize when a friendship is becoming something that will affect your destiny?
Okay, Honorable, my question is directed to you. So you made mention of your constituents punishing you for not giving up something, and I would love to refer all of us to the just ended Nigeria elections. There is this man I know, the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. He didn't win most of the places, or he was denied because, from my perspective, he just want to go clean. Because I know that from the background checks I've made about him, he got most of the, polling agents, everything, those who were rallying behind him. He didn't pay them a dime. And for him, if he's coming to speak, you are only coming to listen to what he has and everything. You're not coming to party, you're not coming to do anything. So he's one of them, like in your shoe, who doesn't want to always give, but you are based on your policies. And I have realized that with that trend, currently it's not working, especially in Africa. So how do you do it? Because if you don't give, you can't win. And the purpose of you going there is to have that space to help. And if you are punished, hopefully, and you're not able to get that opportunity, how do you do it? Or mostly, what keeps you going without doing some of those things? Thank you.
I think I will take this one first if there's anything. Maybe let me start from the bottom. Doing politics without money or leadership without money. Elsewhere, we look for genuine and committed leaders to lead the society. Unfortunately, I dare say this is not a political platform, so I can be frank. It is you, the electorate, who are making politicians corrupt. Go to the US, go to the UK. Politicians, they use what they call volunteers. Somebody can volunteer that I'm going to distribute your flyers for you, and I'm taking the whole of maybe 3 streets in Hackney, and he'll do that for free. Somebody will say, oh, I want to sponsor this advert for you. He doesn't have any motive of recouping the money from you. He will do that out of goodwill, believing in your vision. But there were things that I'm not bragging. There are things that I even did that I didn't believe I could do. I remember in 2016 election, a group of people came to me at a town hall meeting in one of the suburbs of Bibiani and said to me, you see, Bibiani is a relatively urbanized community. Go to Kukum. Kukum is not too far from Bibiani, those of you who know the enclave. Kukum is a smaller community. They have a nursing training college. They started go so here. How come Bibiani we don't have any tertiary institution? And I told them, okay, if you vote for me, I will try to ensure that we will get a tertiary institution in Bibiani. Then I got elected, not solely based on this promise anyway. And I was appointed as deputy health minister. What reason do I have not to have a nursing training college set up in my community? But nursing training is also a tertiary institution. Teacher training is one. But once I'm a deputy health minister, it should be relatively easier for me to set up a nursing training college. So I was appointed and sworn in April 2017. By August, when the president was doing the first tour of then West, that part of Western region, the region, new region had not been created, I managed to get him to announce, and I'm choosing my words carefully, that we're going to set up a nursing training college in Bibiani. And it was starting before the end of 2017. It is because I was having a problem with my boss, the then health minister, to agree for me to set up a nursing training college. So once I get the big man to announce, then I weaken him. Because we are all appointed by the president. So if the president has gone to my constituency to announce that we're going to set up a nursing training college, lo and behold, September, October, we started a nursing training college. It is there now. For the first batch, I think the second batch has even graduated. I'm sure Pastor SK has been going to my hometown. He knows there. Not only that, I was the chairman of the Finance and Investment Committee of National Health Insurance Authority. And I saw that there's a budget line for health infrastructure development. So I could influence them to go and put up a nice edifice for the nursing training school in Bibiani. Now we have a full fresh nursing training working. At the primaries, people will tell you nursing training school in Ebedi. You see where we are going. Elsewhere, you promise, you deliver, you continue your work. But here, even when you have delivered, they ask you, meanwhile, as many as 50 people from the community have been employed. Some as cleaners, some as security, some as drivers, some as cooks. The few who have the skills are employed as tutors and administrators. But that doesn't bother them. If I were to share some of the experiences, you marvel. Somebody comes to you with a brother, media man go school. This is my brother. He's going to school. Help him to find a job. Once you help him, you have helped me. I'll vote for you. You help the person to get a job. The next time, the person who brought his brother will come and tell you, but if he takes his salary, he doesn't share it with me. So me too, I need my own. Where can we go with this? So, if I say I have an answer to the monetization of our politics, I'll be lying. I don't. Unfortunately, it's getting worse. Because if it was so back in 2012 when I was going to contest for the first time, I wouldn't be successful. So we are heading towards a dangerous path. Unfortunately, I don't see an end to it anytime soon. Because now it is for the highest bidder. No matter how good your policies are, how committed you might be, how competent you are, how efficient you are in terms of achieving your objectives, if you don't pay, forget it. And it cuts across. It's not only MPP or NDC. It cuts across. This morning, I was listening to my former leader, H.A. Mensah Bonsu, on Peace FM. He said it. So today, when people go to parliament, they don't sit to do parliamentary work. Because if you sit to do parliamentary work, be sure that you are not coming to parliament the next term. You have to go and chase contract somewhere and make some money so you can pay your delegates and get elected to come to the parliament next 4 years. So it is all of us. He's standing by a project you have done. And when you push him and say that, oh, but this is project he did, oh, but project in ABD. And if you share money too, the moment it is with them, they are enjoying it, they will praise you. Once it is finished, so when do you have to do it? Or when would you be seen to have done it? It's a problem. And very soon, our country will be denied of good and committed leadership who may not be rich. And if you are a committed leader, I tell you, get to a point, sometimes you come home and you are weeping within you. But politicians, we are forced to do it. So if you are not courageous enough like me to do it, then the 2 terms I've got in Kura, thank my God that I got 2 terms. Parliament is not the best way. I mean, it's not a place to make money. We need them to do good policies and laws for us. So my brother, that is the problem. The second one, how and when do you recognize that friendship will not help you? You see, you cannot legislate or even regulate people's behavior. But as intellectual, if you are in a relationship, whether it is boyfriend, girlfriend, or in a normal sister-sister relationship, I mean, the first speaker urged us to have friends. You can't come through the university for 4 years, and then when you leave, you don't have any friend. Because, I mean, those your compatriots, those of you sitting here, in the next 5 to 10 years, you are going to be the leaders. I had a preparatory school in my village I called Future Leaders. You are the future leaders. So if the lady sitting by you is not your friend, the next time you hear or you see her in the news that she's been appointed the, let's say, head of department of economics, and you need to see him or her for support, you are now going to have to tell a long story. You remember when we were here, I was the guy who never spoke to anybody and I kept to myself. It will be a long story. Oh, you remember we met at the next level conference and we had a chat. Oh, okay, I remember you. Then, nafa. So please, that is why the professor emphasized as much as possible, let's make friends. But identify friends that are bad. There was a time my son came to me, and I'll be very frank with this. I tried to, not to control, but to influence him. He came to me with people who had plaited their hairs, they have cut half, and it's left with half. And I said, yo, you want to be an accountant? How many accountants do you see with this hair? If these are the people you want to bring to my house, please, never bring them here. I can't entertain such people. Because the profession I belong to that you want to emulate, we don't have such people there. With due respect, you can't plait as a man, plait half of your hair and cut the other half and wear suit or t-shirt and go and sit in PricewaterhouseCoopers that you are an accounting trainee. At the interview, they will not even look at your face. Your interview will last for just a minute. The moment you walk in and they see you, they won't say because of your hair. Oh, okay, my friend, how are you this morning? Why do you want to be an accountant? Okay, thank you very much. You hear from us. And you go. Because there is a dress code. In fact, until recently, lawyers in the UK were not even allowed to wear trousers. Female lawyers. They were not allowed to wear trousers. My daughter is graduating at Gimpa 2 weeks from now. She goes to class in black and white. Even as a LLB student, they are training you to become a lawyer. So why is it that when you are going to the court, the lawyers, they wear their wig? It is part of their dress code. So there are certain things that, depending on where you want to be, you cannot do. I don't want to bore you too much. Recently, that controversy, was it last year or 2 years ago, that happened in Achimota, that now students can, well, that is that. But there are certain professions you cannot belong to, because nobody will mind you. It's like you're in the UK and you have a strong accent. They see your CV, they see, oh, you are very good. The moment they call you and they speak to you on the phone, oh, hi, how are you? Fine. Oh, yeah, we wanted to call you for interview. Unfortunately, the gentleman who is supposed to be a key panelist is not available. They are lying. Hearing your voice and your accent, they know you don't fit into that position. But they cannot say that to you. So they find an excuse not to even see you. My former boss in the UK, he was called Edwin Essel. His name was, in a way, English. They will call him for interview, and the moment he appears, they are disappointed. The interview will last for 5 minutes, and it's gone. They won't call you again. There's no law that says that if you come for interview, they should call you back. So dress code, the way you carry yourself, are all part of the deal. In fact, at Effigiasi Secondary School, those days, there was this T-shirt that they used to write, "Be a cowboy," and then there would be holes in it like this. And the headmaster was saying, look, so when your father and mother brought you here, all you want to be is to be a cowboy. Then you cannot be part of my team. If you want to be a cowboy, you don't need secondary school education to be a cowboy. So go, that's all. It's a destiny killer. So please, these are some of the things that the prof was talking about. You identify them, or you are in a friendship and you can see that all the friend is talking about, you don't share in that. Oh, me there, when I finish school, I can join a group. If there's any drug dealership, I go one trip and I'm there. I'm okay. Is that what you want to do? To get involved in drug peddling? Is that what your father and your mother want you to do? What if you are caught tomorrow? So when you identify such people, quickly and nicely distance yourself from them. I had a friend in the secondary school. This my friend was very good, but he took to drinking. He was always drunk. And I saw that I can't do that. My mom, when I was doing national service, my mom called me one fine morning. She had heard that in the village we organize, boys, we go and cook our fufu, and when we are going to eat, we go and take appetite, apio. And then one fine day when we were doing that, somebody saw me and went to report me to my mom. So she called me the following morning to her father, who was a linguist in the town, very well respected. And she gave it to me. That, look, I would rather get you killed than for you to be a drunkard. This is an illiterate. That she would prefer me dead than to be a drunkard. Since then, I have never tasted any alcoholic beverage. And people wonder. I remember when I was a regional minister, I went to visit a chief somewhere. Then he brought all sorts of drinks. Honorable, what would you like? I said, oh, me, I don't drink alcohol. Oh, a whole regional minister, I don't drink alcohol. What do you drink? And I said, oh, I drink water. I'm disappointed. How can regional minister say you don't drink alcohol? I said, Nana, I haven't tasted alcohol in the last 25 to 30 years. I said, what? How? How do you do it? Self-discipline, commitment, sacrifice. I don't take alcohol, and I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to say this. If I go anywhere and my colleagues are drinking alcohol, I get water and I drink. All drink be drink, isn't it? So please, we need to be to what we believe in. And somebody also asked how you cannot achieve your objectives, or how if you are not rich. Unfortunately, where we are going, if we don't take care, it is becoming a norm that if you are not rich, you can't get, at least for leaders, political leadership level, you may not get to the level that you want to be. And it is the do or the work of all of us, especially the electorate. Those days, some of us could afford. In 1992 election, I had just come to the university first year. We reported in October. November ending Aboagye's election, we took Alawa and I traveled to the village to campaign for my presidential candidate. Nobody gave me a penny. Today, let any politician come here. For you to even attend, you want him to give you money. He will write your names and your contacts. You meet him, ask all the questions. Then, when you have to do your transfer, or if you have registered there, a day before the election, he has to come and transport you from here to wherever you vote, to go and vote. And when you go, you want a takeaway, you want TNT, you want money. And after that, when you graduate, whether you get first class or third class, you want him to put you at Bank of Ghana. And if he doesn't do that, he's a bad man. We Amaya Bregu. All that we did for him, he didn't even remember. Now when you call him, he doesn't pick. Somebody will see you on the TV in parliament and he's calling you to speak to you. And if you don't pick, you are a bad MP. So politicians, I say, we reflect what you people want us to do. We reflect the character of the electorate. Si jasawa nyasawa ja kansu nyakanda. We dance to the tune of the electorate. So please stop demanding money from politicians, and they will deliver the goods that you want them to deliver. It's as simple as that. And then staying anti-so, I think Prof did justice to it. You see, you need people at every level. I think I've spoken a lot about that already. The people you are meeting now, most likely you meet them again in your life somewhere, somehow. You might need their support. It may not have to do with money, but even to identify opportunity, you still need somebody. And then finally, somebody asks how you can identify your destiny. I think the definition I work with for destiny is that hidden power that is believed to control your future or future events, or what they simply call fate. I think at this stage, you should be able to sit down. You are lucky in the early 20s, you are at the university. Those days, by now, you'll be at best, you'll be at the sixth form. You may not even be exposed to a lot of things. There was no internet. When I tell people that the first mobile phone started in 1996, when I was at the final year here, we're doing a whole week. No, SRC week. And Mobitel brought, it was as bigger than the mic I'm holding, just for experiment. 1996. Before then, there was no mobile phone. But now, you have a phone. Every one of you has a phone, isn't it? You can Google everything. So you should be able to sit down, reflect over the professions. And when you are choosing destiny or future career and all those things, don't choose a job. Choose a profession. So I want to be a banker. I want to work in the bank. No, they will even say, I want to work in the bank. Do you want to be a cleaner there? Somebody, I want to be a bank manager. If you want to be a banker, fine. You can be a banker. But don't say, I want to be a bank manager. Bank manager is a position. You can be a director at the Bank of Ghana. It's not a bank manager, I see. When we say bank manager, we refer to the branch managers. So reflect, go through the Google and studying the people you see around. By all means, by now you have some leanings towards a certain profession. Find more about it. See if that is what you want to do or you want to be. In fact, you can even visualize in the next 10 years, where do I want to find myself? And go there. Not that I want to be MP. MP is not a profession. Politics in general, yes, it is not a profession. Anybody can be a politician. Whether you are an engineer, accountant, HR person, and everything, you can be an accountant. You can be a politician, sorry. So don't choose politics as your destiny, or as your career, as your profession. You pursue a profession, and if you're a lecturer and want to be a politician, you can always move from the lecturer's position to that position. And let's not forget that politics is transient. Very few people are able to make it to the top. These days, the average time you can spend in parliament is 2 terms. I said average, I didn't say everybody. Some spend up to, Mensa has spent 7 terms. But it's only second to back then. Beyond that, most people spend 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, then you are tough. So I believe that I have overstayed my welcome, and I hope I've attempted to answer some of the questions that you put before me. I want to bow out by thanking you so much for this great opportunity. May God bless us all. Thank you.